Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about your first gospel meeting. And so if you're a young guy and you are going off for your first one, here's some things for you to consider. That's what we'll talk about today on Help Me Preach. Alright, so you've had that first invitation, you have a gospel meeting to go to, and so now maybe you're wondering, what do I do? How can I do this well? And so here's some things that hopefully will help you as you're thinking about that first gospel meeting. First thing I would say with any gospel meeting is to ask them what's the purpose or what's the goal behind the actual meeting. A lot of times gospel meetings are done just because we always have meetings and this is what we always do. Try to push against that a little bit and try to see if there's an intention that they have. Maybe it's to reach the community. Maybe it's to help with young people, or maybe it's a particular need in the congregation, like marriage or something. And so those are things that I would say are very helpful. And so then you want to just kind of build out of that. Once you understand what your purpose is, try to just kind of structure everything for that particular area. Now, one thing as well that's very important is to start early. And so this is going to be in a couple of different ways that you need to do this. But the first thing is when you're thinking about that purpose, once it's established, go ahead and start working on those lessons really early so that you can start letting your mind just kind of think about all the connections that you're overall trying to accomplish. And so start rolling those things out. Start practicing them, start getting comfortable with them, get that information done early. Now, let me give you a couple of other little things that I think are important. Whenever you get to the meeting, don't try to just show up like Saturday night. You might show up a little bit earlier, like Saturday afternoon or earlier, or maybe even Friday, because you want to try to get comfortable with the people and where you're going to be going and that kind of thing. You're just settling in. And sometimes you may even show up early and do some door knocking with people. And so those are really good ideas to try to think about, kind of as the basis of getting settled in and trying to get there early. Now, kind of connected to this, whenever you're at the actual lessons and doing the actual presentation, try to show up early for the lessons. And particularly when you're there, as you're introducing yourself and trying to get to know people, try to connect with those that are older and those that are particularly really young, and try to remember their names. A lot of times the people that are around your age or the people that are just a little bit older, you'll connect with them anyway. But those that are kind of on those outside edges in age, they're the ones that a lot of times can get overlooked, and so you can try to connect with them. Now, here's another thing that might be overlooked, is to be really careful with your meals. I remember the first time that I did a gospel meeting, it was a full week that I did by myself, and I think they gave me meals a couple of times a day or whatever. And as a young guy, I was single, I ate all kinds of food and everything. But I'll tell you, on Thursday, it was like I hit a wall. I had had too much food. And so it's one of those things you need to kind of think about is kind of pace yourself. You're going to have a lot of good food. A lot of these meals are going to be some of their best meals. And so they may be kind of heavy. And so just be careful with that. To be maybe thinking, okay, I want one meal a day, or if you're going to eat the meals, just have them kind of spaced out properly, and then just kind of eat, smaller portions. Let's talk about pay just a little bit. Whenever it comes to gospel meetings, I'll just say this, just be satisfied with whatever they give you. So in my experience from talking to other people or hearing other people in this and just through personal experience, sometimes you will get paid more than you expected, and then sometimes you will get paid less than you expected. And so just take what you get. And then the reason I say that is because in the end, a lot of it'll just work itself out. It'll just balance out over time. Now, a couple of other things with gospel meetings is, one, don't base your effectiveness on gospel meetings. So I know whenever I've been younger, and even now, I guess you have influences and all of that, but you kind of wonder, hey, here's all these people that do all these gospel meetings. How come it's like this same person or these same people over and over and over again? You know, why don't I have more opportunities or whatever? It's easy to fall into that trap. And the thing is, some people are more inclined to do that kind of thing. Their personalities fit better with that. But even then, we're kind of just falling into a trap of comparison, and really it could even be envy to a certain extent. And so the thing is, that's obviously not good in the first place, but one thing is that it can cause you to think of your effectiveness as being something that is based in something that really you can't control, and that honestly it hurts you, because it hurts your local effectiveness because you're thinking, I'm not getting something else. And one of the things that I think is important is that while gospel meetings and those types of things can be valuable, the thing is, what's more valuable in the long run is your local work. What you're doing with those people on an individual basis. I mean, sure, it's good to go through and have people that you are, maybe teaching in a gospel meeting and all that type of thing, but a lot of times it just ends up where it's lessons and it was a good week, you encouraged them, and then you went back home. And so if you base your effectiveness on that, it's going to be a problem. And so then that kind of goes to the motives behind all of this. Really check your motives. Are you interested in getting a big name for yourself? Are you interested in trying to have connections with other people? I mean, there's all kind of different things that could fit into it. But the thing is, that's not what the gospel meeting should be for, number one. And then second off, that shouldn't be what your motives should be. It should be about trying to benefit the Lord's work and trying to help these people in whatever the way that you can. And so anyway, as you think about these gospel meetings, first off, congratulations if you haven't, because it's super exciting. Like, it's an enjoyable time to go there. It's exhausting, so just kind of pace yourself, but just kind of keep it in perspective. I remember one time I was hearing Warren Berkeley talked about this, and he was talking about go do your gospel meeting, do it well, then come back home and take out the trash. And his whole point was just get back to doing your normal routine, because that's where your value is going to come. And once we can kind of have that mindset about our work and about gospel meetings, I think we'll do a lot better on it. So hopefully that was helpful and you can get some benefit out of that. If you have any more suggestions or things that I missed or things that you think would be really good to include in this, feel free to throw those down in the comments. If you haven't liked this video, please like it, share it, and if you haven't already, subscribe, and we'll catch up with you later. Have a good one.